Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Lubbock Sports Medicine. What a great team of doctors. Not hardly a week goes by ever that I don't hear of somebody that's been there, and it had great, whatever you call it.
At our advanced age, you hardly ever go
great
a week.
experience.
Literally don't go a week without somebody saying.
And the people just love it. And they love the docs there and the PAs and everybody that works there. It's just a great atmosphere. And you'll love these doctors. Go to LubbockSportsMed.com and check them out.
Our buddy Clay and Floyd Ada, going to have a hip.
All right. Just get you a new one. If it wears out, quit on your old hip and get you a new one.
Hey, hips are not a problem. They say hips are
the people
snap.
are walking and going. And
snap.
Mighty Wash, and I know a bunch of y'all have been there this week because of all the rain we had last week, and your cars get all messed up, and Mighty Wash can take care of you. They've got the free vacuums. They've got the little sprayer with the air that you can blow out the inside and get the water out of around your mirrors, and it's just a wonderful place, and they're all over Lubbock.
The blower is one of the key elements.
They are, and they're all over Lubbock, and they're also down in the Permian Basin. There's more of them down there and in eastern New Mexico than in Lubbock, but Lubbock has a bunch. I think about 6 of them, and so Mighty Wash ought to be your car wash. It's the Texas Tech coach's car wash. All right, we have our athletic director, Kirby Hocutt.
Hey.
Did you say it?
Kirby, I got a quick question. If we paid mileage for you, would you come in and join us one day?
You guys
are you in Lubbock right now? Are you not want people to know where you are?
I am sitting right here on my back porch in Lubbock.
I thought you might be at the lake. But you remember how excited you used to be to come be on the show with us in the studio, and we just hee-haw and just have a great time, and then
now he's got to be careful that people knows where he is.
And who he's seen
There's crazy people out in the world. I worry about it too, Kirby. Sometimes I walk outside and look out the door first.
No, I was hoping to see you guys last night at John Walker for our soccer.
Yeah, we did good.
Hey,
so we did great, but I couldn't find you guys. So,
wasn't it super?
We have such a big crowd there, you probably just didn't see us.
In fact, we're going to try to have Tom on the show here in just a little while.
Yeah,
because he does a great job.
Tom does a great job. It was a great night. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. Probably one of the best crowds I've seen at John Walker.
Well, I went last year when North Carolina. Who was it? North Carolina.
I went just last year.
Don't you remember seeing me out there, Kirby?
Or was that 3 years ago?
I'm not sure, but I have been there.
I've been this year, and I would have been there last night because I was pumped up to play LSU. But I had a 9-year-old birthday party in Midland, so I had a road trip last night. But I would have been there, by golly.
I got high school football going on.
Yeah, it was a great night. I'm very proud.
Tom did not go to his son's game out at Friendship.
No.
What kind of father is that you hired out there?
But it was a great win for the Friendship Tigers. They've had a heck of a year, and Leighton Stone has had a great year. I'm so happy for Leighton and proud of him. And Lindsay, Tom's much better half, she was at the Friendship game, and then when it got under control, she came over to the soccer game, and she was with Josh Young last night. So they're close family friends, and so it was fun to see Lindsay celebrate a football win and soccer win, and it was great to see Josh last night as well.
All right, just what is the connection there? Because it's football, soccer, Metroplex. Where do they know each other from?
You'd have to ask Tom that question. I think it started, if my memory is correct, on Fortnite. I think Josh used to get online with Landry, Tom and Lindsay's youngest son, and play Fortnite and play Xbox or whatever they do remote. And I think they just formed a great family friendship from that.
Well, I told my kids growing up, you'll never amount to anything if you spend all this time on these games. And you're telling me that you can make it to the big leagues, you can do all this stuff if you're a gamer.
Whatever Josh is doing, it worked out.
I'm about to say, were your kids gamers? Did they do that stuff?
I guess not to the level that they needed to.
Well, Josh started talking to his bat. I don't know what all that kind of messed him up.
I don't know if he still does or not.
I don't think he talks to his bat anymore. I think the big league guys made fun of him.
Well, I would think.
Quit talking to your bat.
So anyway.
Well, that's cool that he was there. That is really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was. It's great to see him, right? And Jace is back in town, and just for those guys that continue to come back in their off seasons and work out here and be present and around. It's special, as it is with all of our former student athletes that we celebrate and talk about all the time. But Josh and Jace, to have them around, it's just, I think it speaks to, this community, number one. It speaks to their time at Texas Tech and the experiences that they had at Texas Tech. So those are really special things and great to see continue to happen.
I'll just add to that. Eric Ward, who's now the head football coach at Estacado, was a tremendous receiver at Texas Tech. And I talked to him the other day, I think a week or so ago, and I said, and they were going to the playoffs. They won, by the way, 45-20. They're by district ground over Fort Stockton. But I said, now, hell, buddy, you ain't got to come up here and then leave. He goes, I ain't going nowhere. I love it here because of my Red Raider ties. And he goes, I love it in Lubbock, Texas. So, and he is one of the finest guys that we've ever had. I'll tell you, just a good man.
Eric is. I remember watching Eric play, and then, the university just kicked off a $1 billion plus fundraising campaign. And at the kickoff event a handful of weeks ago, I believe it was it was one of our home football games a few weeks ago, Eric was recognized and honored at the kickoff event. And it was just great to see him there and see him recognized for what he's accomplished. A great role model, and like you said, it's great to have him back in the community.
And that's billion with a B, right?
Billion with a B,
All
yes,
right,
sir.
Now, how long do we have to raise a billion with a B?
Well, it typical with capital campaigns. The university's been working on fundraising towards this campaign for a handful of years now, 3 or 4 years, I believe, and then I believe set a goal that over the next 6 years to accomplish it. But, President Skubinek or Byron Kennedy could give you the exact numbers, but I think, over 500 million has been identified and raised.
So we got
already.
A good head start on it.
Got a great head start. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's a lot. They've already raised.
And what all is this money for?
It's not for classroom stuff, is it? It's for football or something?
Yeah.
Well, athletics is a part of this campaign, which I think, as y'all know, we've talked about on the show many times, just speaks volumes about how special of a time it is. So athletics, we just wrapped up the campaign for Fearless Champions. We celebrated when Patrick Mahomes came into town in August with the opening of our South End Zone facility and announced we'd raised over $500 million. So then the university rolls into this $1.2 billion on and on campaign, and President Skubinek made certain that athletics was a part of this campaign.
Yeah.
And so we know the landscape in college athletics is changing. We're going to this revenue share model. Private support fundraising is going to continue to be as critical as ever for college athletics. So President Skubinek, was adamant that athletics would be a part of this initiative, as well as, scholarships and continued university investments.
Is he the greatest too? My gosh, what a wonderful president at Texas Tech, Dr. Skubinek.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that as an athletics director, as a head coach, you could not have a better boss, better president than
I agree.
President Skubinek is. Yeah,
he's phenomenal, and he throws pretty good with his T-shirt deal.
He really does.
Yeah, we had some presidents that they just needed to stay home. They did.
Or hire it out. hire somebody to throw the T-shirts.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Quit throwing.
Well, Patty can wing it too.
Patty can throw it. Yeah.
So anyway,
all right. They are awesome. Yeah.
I think you chastised me just a little over missing a basketball game the other day, but I was at the one before that, and there was a fella sitting with you, and he looked like an MMA, not maybe manager of an MMA.
How do you figure that out? That they're a manager of an MMA guy?
Well, he was too old to actually be. Well, senior division division MMA.
Was he kind of nuts?
Well, no, he's bald headed and sort of.
Okay.
round. And,
He's round.
yeah. Anyway, we're doing the show out there at the stadium the next day because it was a Friday night game. So here comes whoever he is, and he didn't introduce himself. I said, "Hey, you were with Kirby last night." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what's the deal?" And he came over and he gave us this big old belt buckle that had Tech, had Patrick Mahomes, and had something else.
I don't remember. I didn't keep it. I gave it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it next week. I forgot it this morning. But anyway, it had Adidas. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I forgot that part. I'm assuming he was an Adidas guy?
Yeah, yes. His name is John Miller. John is the president, CEO of Adidas North America. So he is the highest executive.
We shouldn't have made so much fun of him.
We should have given him a lot more respect.
So, it was great to have John in town. He was in town Friday and Saturday. So Friday night, we went to the basketball game, got to spend some good time with him afterwards, and to have him here, boots on the ground on our campus, he was excited about, obviously, the new partnership, the rollout of the Patrick Mahomes uniforms, having Fox Noon kickoff show on campus. So it was great to have him here and spend time with him.
Good looking uniforms, but I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. You know me, Kirby. Make those numbers where older folks can read them. The young people can read them, but us older folks had a little bit of trouble reading those numbers.
Hey, we would have had him up on we didn't know he was that big a deal. We'd have had him up on the stage with us. We didn't know what was going on. We thought,
I had a pretty good idea he's important, or Kirby wouldn't have let him sit with him.
Yeah, that's why we never sit with Kirby.
Yeah.
That's why we never sit with Kirby.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You nailed it. So anyway, okay, so he was the president of this area, Adidas.
Of North America.
Yes, sir.
Of all of North America. That includes Canada.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. God.
So Adidas has been a great partnership, and they're excited about Texas Tech. In the first 3 months of our partnership, we were one of the leaders in our merchandise sales at retail. And, if we keep that same pace over a 12-month period, we would be ahead of some recognizable, programs that they have and they represent throughout the country. So, we're not surprised. The Red Raider Nation, they respond, right? They want to wear what the teams wear and what the coaches wear. And the fact that Red Raider Nation has purchased as much merchandise, they're having trouble keeping it in stock and on the shelves, which is a great situation to be in.
Kirby, I'm sure you're not watching it on TV, but I'm showing my Adidas shirt that I'm wearing proudly this morning, and David's showing his Under Armour jacket that he has on.
It's a Texas Tech basketball, and I haven't switched from football. I still got my football on underneath. I haven't. I'm just for both of them. But
all right. Speaking of football, TCU Baylor had the opportunity, whether they took it or not, we don't know, to listen into our plays as we're playing them. All right, if we have that same knowledge, if we know we're playing Slippery Rock and we can listen to Slippery Rock's plays, would we have told the conference that, hey, or would we have
just listened
or not said anything? Can you answer that, or you want to go to the next question?
No, I can answer it. Number one, if you step back, it's unfortunate. We never should be in that position to begin with, and it should have been handled much differently than it was. And what my colleagues from both Baylor and TCU have said is they did take it to the conference office when they became aware of it. And then from that point, I wish one of two things would have happened. I wish they would have, in addition to bringing it forward to the conference, would have brought it forward to all the athletic directors, like we did when we immediately learned about it. And I wish the conference would have come forward and taken different actions and stepped forward in a way that didn't happen. So, it never should have been there in that situation to begin with, and it should have been handled much differently.
Well, if I'm the conference or if I'm either one of those schools, I would think, isn't that a piece of information that Tech should have? And if they don't have it, it sure is jicky.
Yeah, they should have called it out right then and said, hey, guys, we're getting y'all's plays. Y'all need
or at least at halftime.
Yeah, or late
third quarter.
Third
quarter. Say, hey, we've got your plays.
Well, it's information the other 14 schools should have had, and honestly, it's not even just a Big 12 issue. All 4 power conferences committed and bought the same system, and it should have been handled much differently. And the conference thought that a software update was coming, much quicker than what it ended up being available, and it's just a very unfortunate and frustrating situation.
Okay, before we get back to what's right with the world, let's do one more what's wrong with the conference, and that's our last football game. My gosh. And believe me, I've been around poor officiating my entire life, or at least in my opinion, I've been around poor officiating. But that seemed to take the cake the other day. And I'm wondering, is it intimidation by Dion, the fact that guy's over there? Is it the conference really wants Colorado to be one of the 2 in the hunt? And I know you can't say that that's what it was. But, when we go down to UT, of course, they had their own umpires. But if they hadn't, just that environment would create, where it'd be a little shady, a little iffy on the officiating. But the officiating in the Colorado game was beyond iffy. It was darn right. Come on, guys. Make it look better than this, that you're trying to get Colorado in the darn playoffs. And we don't have time to answer that right now, so we're going to give you a chance to think on it during the break.
Or leave. Or hang up.
Pull the COVID deal.
Yeah, be a quitter.
But anyway, I mean, it just jumped out off the board that, hey, yeah, they missed that one. Yeah, they missed that. And, it's fine if they miss 6 calls and it's 3-3, maybe 4-2. But when it's 6-0, you go, come on now. So anyway, we'll talk more about that when we come back, and we'll have more sports talk with Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt right after this.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, Las Brisas out of 114th and Topeka. It's right out there where Coach Hocutt lives, and he probably eats there every meal.
It's nowhere near.
I know that. That's where our football coach
he's
lived.
A half a tank.
That's where Matt Wells lived out there by it, didn't he? Yeah, he lives close to it. But it's so great, so great of food. It's just a wonderful place. If I had to pick the best one and the best restaurant in this part of the country, it'd be Las Brisas.
There you go.
That's how good they are.
And they're very good to Texas Tech University.
They are. All right. Kirby Hocutt is here with us on the program, on the phone. He's not in the room.
All right, Kirby, that was the last tough question.
No, we're
going to get back to being sweet. But hey, wasn't that a little bit extreme? I mean, even the athletic director ought to be able to at least nod his head that that was a little bit much.
Are you nodding your head?
Well, I would just say it continues to be a topic of conversation, right? And I wouldn't even just focus on the Colorado game. When you go back, there's been a number of calls that we have disagreed with, and we've taken the opportunity through the right channels to share that with the Big 12, to have those circumstances reviewed, to have feedback brought back to us, and have further conversations. So we have been actively, I would say, engaged with the conference on, some things that have transpired over the season that I would say in games that we've won, such as Iowa State, and games that we haven't been able to pull out, such as TCU and Colorado, there's been plays that, in my opinion, as I've shared, have had significant impact on the game. And Coach McGuire and I both talked to the conference officials about that, the supervisor of officials for the Big 12 conference. And so there's no question that we've got to continue to provide the training and the resources for our officiating program to be as good as it can be. It's never going to be perfect. At the same time, I hope we can continue to adapt and watch what the NFL has done with their booth replay system that they've put into play. I think that simple adjustment could resolve so much of the frustration that we've had, again, on plays that I I would say had significant impact on the outcomes of games, in games that we both won and we've lost.
And the roughing the passer at the Colorado game, that's one of those ones where if they could have relayed down there and said, hey, pick your flag up.
Yeah.
That would have, because it wasn't just a series changing, game changing. It's a season changing call. That's a huge call. One of the biggest missed calls in a long darn time. Now, do we win the game if he doesn't make it? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to say probably, maybe not. But for goodness sakes, and the NFL does a pretty good job of getting it down there quick. But they can get it down there and say, hey, pick your flag up, eat it.
That was a game-changing play because that was 3rd down and long, and that gave them a first down, and they went and scored. We were ahead. We had all the momentum, and that would have given the ball back to us. It's just – and I guess the official knew that. He goes, this is getting out of hand. Colorado's got to stay in
Hey,
this.
Kirby, how about one more tough question?
Yes, sir.
All right, you good for that, or you want us to go
I got
on
one for him.
To the powder puff questions? All right. I loved the fake punt call. I despise the execution of it, but I love the fact that we're willing to do that. And I watched a game when I got home that night, and I saw the exact same fake punt that works. And when it works, the coach is a genius. But when it doesn't work, you go, hey, what the heck? When you saw it, what was your first thought? Hey, what the heck? Or, well, hey, we're thinking outside the box.
If it had worked, I'd been jumping up.
That's exactly right.
But heck, it's football, right? Now I'll tell you this though, and what I love, I think all of Red Raiders love, and I know that locker room full of young men love, is Joey McGuire's going to play to win.
Yeah,
he is going to play the game of football to win every Saturday, and you're involved in a game like Baylor when we were playing to win, and that helped Baylor, stretch the score out on us. And then, the fake punt call, heck, if it works, we're celebrating, and it didn't. So
it wasn't very close to working either.
No, it wasn't. I
think they held us. I heard they held us.
I think maybe, you can. I don't think you can have interference on a fake punt.
Yeah.
So that might have been what people saw was.
But they were holding.
Well, I don't know about, if you're holding, you can't do that.
We didn't get the spacing that you need. It was too bunched up in that area where we were trying to execute it. So
somebody zigged when they should have zagged.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's technical. Now, I want to ask you one other thing.
One more tough question.
And I want to ask you about the tortillas.
Yes, sir.
At one point we almost had it stopped. The kickoff at the start of the game, that was the most tortillas I've ever seen in my life. It was like a blizzard of tortillas. And I know that Big Fox Saturday deal, they egged that on, boy. I mean, they got everybody all fired up about it. But I don't know. With throwing stuff on the field, then it leads to other things. Of course, just to be upfront with everybody, I don't like the tortillas at all.
All right.
I
don't have a problem with it to take, just to take the other side of it. I'm fine with it, but within reason, It doesn't need to be a 60-minute deal where you're winging them out there, and they shouldn't be as aerodynamical as some of them are.
Well, they're freezing them. But what bothered me about the Big Fox Saturday is how we have a wonderful university, a tremendous football team, and we spent most of the time talking about tortillas.
Huh?
Did you quit?
Yeah, I quit on that one. Man, it's been good talking to you guys now. We made a decision over the course of the summer that we were going to, the tortillas at kickoff were fine. What is not fine is the throwing of other objects or the constant bombardment of wadding up tortillas and throwing them at the visiting team the entire game. So we've tried the message, and obviously we have failed on when it's appropriate to throw tortillas. And the throwing of other objects on the field is absolutely unacceptable, and that has to stop.
It needs
to stop. And the Big 12 Conference Commissioner Yormark sent out a communication to athletic directors this week, and it's not Texas Tech. It's not a Texas Tech memo. There was an incident at the Utah BYU game where the BYU cheerleading coach was hit in the head with a full bottle of water, and it knocked her out. So, there's going to be one warning for objects, not tortillas, but objects thrown onto the field. And then the second time it happens after the warning, I believe we'll start seeing a penalty assessed to the team, and we don't want to see that.
No.
So the throwing up tortillas on kickoff, great. That's fun to do, but bombarding the visiting team with them throughout the game and other objects, that really needs to stop.
And Kirby, we got a gazillion people. In fact, somebody I was sitting with that day looked up there and said, look how many people we have. Security, I guess they're security. I don't think they're like ushers saying, here's a seat down here. And they've got to see people throwing stuff. And as soon as they do, get the police, go get that person, male, female, whatever, and take them. We used to have a paddy wagon outside the deal, and they sit in that paddy wagon until the game's over, maybe an hour after the game, and then you let them out. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think that, yes, we do have, security personnel in the yellow jackets up and down the aisles that you see. And we have cameras on the student section, but it is so hard when you've got, just that mass of individuals to identify who's throwing them. And then by the time you get officers down, people have moved. And we need our students in the stadium. You don't want the visual of the visual of uniformed officers taking students out of the stands. Nobody wants that.
Wouldn't have to do it many times.
No, we again, tortillas at kickoff's great. Other things needs to stop. And Gary, that's probably the only way to stop it is what you said.
And you wouldn't have to do it very long before people realize that, hey, we can't do this.
And
it ought to be acceptable to narc them out. Say, hey, it's
our student body
right here.
Our student body ought to be supporting our team, and they ought to say that's not acceptable for you to be doing that up here. And of course, we'll have fights in the stands then probably, but it's Coach McGuire does not need to be on the PA. He needs to be coaching football. He doesn't need to be trying to control our fans. But I'm glad he did it. He needed to say something.
Okay, Kirby, here's another good idea. You ready?
Yes, sir.
You got a pen in hand?
Got my notebook out.
Early in the season when we're playing Slippery Rock and Sisters of the Poor, have them throw 15-yard penalties because we're not going to lose the game because of it. And it's sending a message that, hey, we can't do this. Now then, once again, now we're just talking tortillas because they're not so amped up against Slippery Rock to throw a bottle.
Here's a quick story for you. This is kind of funny. Tanner's boy, Truman, he's 8. So we're leaving the game a couple of weeks ago, and tortillas are laying around, and he picks a tortilla up, turns and slings it, hits a guy right in the face that's about 2 feet from him, an older man. So, hit him right in the face. And Tanner, they had to stop and go back, and of course Tanner made him apologize, and the guy was very nice. But these kids, this is what we do.
Should have had him in the paddy wagon.
I know, should have put him in the paddy wagon.
Yep, I'd cut that out.
I'm for kids having fun, but it's just out of control, it seems like.
Yeah, and we put Coach McGuire in a very difficult position, right? When you're asking your head coach, and Coach McCaslin had to do it last year, and Coach McGuire had to do it this year. It was a very emotional time in that game, if you remember.
Oh, I do.
And, to put a microphone in the head coach's hand when it is an emotionally charged time of the game where he's into the officials, he's talking to the coaches. It was an unfortunate setting of what was such a great day of celebration for Texas Tech University and Texas Tech athletics. I told our team on Monday that while we didn't win the game, we won the day, we won the weekend with Big Fox Noon and the attendance and the energy. And there's going to be more Saturdays like that, and we're going to win those games in the future.
That's a good word, Kirby. Yeah. That is a good word, and I agree with you. We did so good, and Texas Tech came off shining. I think everybody loved it here.
Yeah, the people from Fox, they could not have been more appreciative. Last Saturday during the show, I got a text from Eric Shanks, who's the CEO of Fox Sports. He said, "Wow, this is incredible. Thank you." Sunday, Jordan Bazant, the number 2 guy at Fox Sports, called me and just said, "Hey, thank you. Thank Texas Tech for the weekend y'all produced and put together." So we made a great representation for I say we the university, we the Lubbock community and Red Raider Nation really represented ourselves well and grew our brand last weekend.
I agree.
Okay, you got any more tough questions?
No,
there?
those are good. See, that's why we want to hear what Kirby just said.
Yep.
Because that's who we are, Kirby, and you know that as well as anybody.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is a great school with great people and great student body. And I just, of course.
Hey, something I haven't noticed this year, correct me if I'm wrong, Kirby, is the students, have they quit saying the wrong words to the school song?
Well, Gary, you stay where you're at.
Okay.
And you keep thinking that.
Put your head in the sand.
But I will say we've been more successful in that. So that was a part of the initiative of, hey, tortillas are okay at halftime. These are the traditions. And so this summer there was a Sunday where I think 3,000 to 4,000 students gathered at Urbanowski Park. We talked about spirit. We talked about traditions. Coach McGuire came over and led a walk from Urbanowski to the stadium. So, there has been some effort to try to educate and set the standard, and we're not quite there yet, but we'll keep working on it. And we do have great students that want to be there and be a part of the game and help the team. And our student attendance this year has been outstanding.
It surely has. Now,
it's been great.
Do we do freshman orientation still, where all the freshmen have to come in and you orientate them?
Yeah, that's still done.
Now, do we say, okay, here are our great traditions, and here are some that are really crappy, and you need to put an end to it if you don't mind, please? Do we throw that in that orientation that, hey, here's some things that we're starting to get known for that we don't want to be known for?
Yeah, all of that is messaged and communicated, and athletics is a part of that. Student affairs is a part of that. Our spirit squads are a part of that. I think you just get into these situations, and those are freshmen, right? Well, we do have sophomores and juniors and seniors on campus, and when you get into a situation where you have 12,000 students at a football game, I think it's like group think, right? You maybe have a small group that starts something, and others just tend to fall in, and so it's nothing that can change overnight, but over time we can continue to influence and educate and message, and as long as we stay consistent to that message, it'll have a positive effect. Okay,
what else great's going on out there?
Well, we got a good day today. We have volleyball at home.
Playing better, aren't we?
At 1. We are.
They're playing good right now. Yeah.
Young women are competing, and I'm proud of Coach Greystone and that team. And then Lady Raiders put the ball up tonight against Washington State at the United Supermarkets Arena. So it's while there's no football, it's number of athletic events on campus. And again, last night watching our soccer team beat LSU. LSU was talented; they were big, but man, our girls are so fast and physical, and just proud. Again, probably end where we started. Proud of Coach Stone and that soccer team.
And with that win, Coach, we inherit the ability to play the number 1 ranked team in the country, Duke, and they won 8-0.
Hey, well, I'm not going to bother you with this, but we're going to get into it after this because we only got 30 seconds with you. But what the heck? We shouldn't have to play Duke in the second round.
It's ridiculous.
That's just me.
Hey,
what else is going good,
Bammer Flippo was supposed to be here today. He was so excited because you were going to be on the phone and he was coming in, but he's got busy
done a great
again.
Job. He and Jared, they have done a great job at the Rawls Golf Course.
They have. It's phenomenal.
I know y'all have played it. It is phenomenal.
You're doing a great job. Does anybody ever tell you that? You're doing a great job.
We tell him every time.
And we mean it. We mean it. We're proud you're our guy.
You guys. Thank y'all for being ambassadors and all y'all do to support the programs.
We love the Red Raiders.
Appreciate the heck out of you, Kirby.
All right, buddy.
Guys, have a great Saturday.
Thanks for being on.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Kirby Hocutt.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, quarter 4. That is the old Cardinals. It's pretty much the same story exactly, other than the name has changed. In fact, it is the same store. It's the same people, and Brad White and his team, and it's still wonderful. It's the place to go for shopping. Some of y'all are already doing Christmas shopping, and you need to go to quarter 4 because you can do all your Christmas shopping for everybody in your family at one location because they've got it all.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you get your outfit on? Got his
You folks that don't want to drive all over town looking for stuff, go to quarter 4.
They've got it just outside the loop on Slide Road, and they'll take great care of you. R.C. Taylor Distributing. This isn't a great place to shop for Christmas, but if you've got convenience store type items you need, they'll bring them right to you. And 125 miles around Lubbock, those little trucks with the highway on the back of them, they'll bring it right to you and unload it.
You want a huge jar of huge pickles?
Yeah.
They've got it.
They've got it.
9,000 items they have.
Yeah, probably lots of them. Lots and lots. All right, that game with A&M is in Fort Worth. There's a little 2 right here, a little bitty tiny 2.
And then you got to go down to the bottom to find.
I wish they'd come down there, and it's at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. That is if A&M decides to come.
They did something jicky. I think they were supposed to come here. I think we had a home and home or something.
Yeah.
If anybody knows how they jicked us, let me know, and we'll share it with the masses.
There's not that many good conference games today in football. I think Kansas at BYU should be an interesting game because Kansas has won 3 games in conference. They were supposed to be a lot better than that.
Yeah, they won that many?
They won. Yeah, they're 3-6. No, they're 3-6 over the 2 and 4 in conference.
I didn't think they won hardly any conference.
They're 3-6 overall, 2 and 4 in conference.
But that, they may decide to play. Just like Oklahoma State's going to have a good game one of these days. May not be this year.
No,
I'm afraid it's going to be against us.
I hope it isn't. Yeah, we got them in West Virginia left on the road against. If I'm right, which I think I am,
Oklahoma State.
On the road against Oklahoma State and then back home against
and we're going to have a West Virginia team that if they love their coach, they're going to be playing their little tails off because he's battling for his job. And he's an old Red Raider.
Yep. He is. Let's see where they are. They're 4-2 in conference, 5-4 overall. Texas Tech, 4-3 in conference, 6-4. We're already bowl eligible.
Right, who's West Virginia play this week?
West Virginia plays Baylor. At West Virginia, Baylor's favored.
Yeah. We need West Virginia to go ahead and get bowl eligible. We don't need them coming in here,
Yeah. I don't think.
With 5 wins.
Yeah, who knows? I can't figure.
That'd be a good game, I think.
Yeah, that should be a good game.
Who won the Houston game last night? Because I watched part of it.
Arizona won.
Yeah, Arizona.
Pretty handily.
I think it was like 27-3.
To 3.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's a Houston team. They got shut out. They got shut out the next week, and then the next week they beat who? Somebody pretty good.
TCU.
Yeah,
They beat TCU. Now they're back to scoring 3 points.
They got shut out 2 weeks in a row. Then they win 2 games in a row, I think.
Well, and 3's not shut out, but 3's about as close as you can get to be shut out because you could be at the 40-yard line and score 3 points. Yeah. So, anyway, that's 3 games that basically they got shut out of the end zone. That's phenomenal.
It really is.
Okay.
All right, I was looking here. Yeah, Houston. Oh, okay. Houston beat Kansas State.
Oh,
if I got the right deal here, or I got soccer or something. No, wouldn't be soccer.
Never mind.
It was 24.
That was water volleyball.
Week 10, they beat Kansas State 24-19. I mean, this
okay. Go ahead and call Tom Stone. He said he's free for the next 90 minutes. These coaches are down to it. Okay, here you go, guys. Here's why we didn't play A&M here. They got invited to a big money tournament in Vegas, so we're supposed to start the home and home next year. We appreciate that, Brad.
All right, so are we going to play them or not? I wasn't paying attention again.
I will tell him. We're calling now. Tom Stone.
Hey.
Home and home starts next year, supposedly, with A&M.
Are we playing them this year in Fort Worth?
Yeah, I don't know. Depending on what comes up.
Yeah, they may get a better offer.
Yeah, they may get a better offer. And let me tell you what, you better take advantage of those better offers so you can pay your players.
All right, so we're calling right now to get Tom Stone.
Yes, we are. And
his boy
what?
Leighton, who's coming to Tech next year, he's a phenomenal receiver, y'all. I mean, unbelievable, great athlete. He's a great basketball player, really good basketball player.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate you taking your time, especially after the big win last night. And I'm assuming y'all practice today, or do you give them the day off? Do y'all ever have a day off?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? You don't think the NCAA is not mandating days off?
Well,
Oh,
yes.
they do?
They are.
I knew they mandated them. I just didn't know you were taking them.
Well, that's
that
true.
was-
I should tell them I don't want to. Yeah, well, today's recovery day. Everybody gets recovered from the game last night, and then tomorrow's off, and then we start again on Monday.
Okay. And I hate to start with the negative, but y'all had such a great year, almost win the conference, second in the conference, and then you see the draw. And,
What kind of
and your
deal?
eighth seed, which to me makes no sense.
Right.
You know, you ought to be, I'm going to say, a 4 or 5 seed.
Yep.
And then you're not only an 8 seed, if you win, which you did, you get to play the number 1 seed.
Yeah, that's the joy of being the 8th seed, and I would tend to agree. I thought we would end up higher, but, you know, soccer has one really big challenge when it comes to NCAA tournament. So I feel for the committee and the people that run it. We really rely heavily on the RPI, and anybody that follows the math in the RPI knows that 20 games is not a really good sample size to run the math through that matrix. If we played 30 or more, it would really have a chance to settle, but it doesn't. And so if the teams you play and beat, which we beat most of them, 15 of them, they don't do well. The teams in the Big 12 did well, but the teams in the non-conference, a lot of them had really bad seasons. And because of that, our RPI dropped to an area where they could justify that 8 seed. And I think the tip of the hat was, hey, look, guys, you're not going to be seated as high, but we're going to give you a home game. But then they slapped us with LSU, one of the biggest, strongest, fastest teams in the country. So we had to get through that.
That's really nice taking care of you, Coach.
No, it's not.
And then you get Duke, and you're just like, come on now. I agree with Gary, and they got to get the seeding right, because if they get the seeding right, and you're better than an 8, we're better than an 8, then you're not going to play Duke in the second game. But I guess we just go beat them, huh?
Well, that's the only option. As my dad would say, there's no alternative, or you got to turn the gear in. And look, Duke's really good, and I love the coach there. He's awesome. Matter of fact, he was one of my coaches when I was at Duke, and we got a lot of respect for him. I think there's some matchups in that thing that are just as bad, if not worse, like Florida State, for example. So we're honored to get up there and take them on. You know, we faced 2 number 1 teams in my time here. We beat West Virginia 1-0 when they were number 1, and we lost to Florida State 3-2 in double overtime when they were number 1. So we've had a good run in those games, but, you know, Duke's pretty special. We're going to have our best performance of the year for sure.
Now, are they actually number 1 in the country, or are they just in the top 4 in the country?
There's a couple of polls. I think they're number 1 in one of them and 2, 3, or 4 in the other.
Okay. All right.
Well, do you ever get Coach, like the Duke won their match 8-0, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever have one of those where you just take it easy? Because I'm telling you, every one of yours are there's just a fight to the finish.
Well, that's the way we like it here in West Texas. You know, the fans would get bored if the game wasn't, rough and tough.
Well, it is.
But you know, a few years ago, we got Prairie View A&M, the winner of that Southland, or wasn't Southland, I can't think of the conference now, SWAC.
Yeah.
We got Prairie View A&M, and they came up, and it was about 21 degrees outside, and it was 4-0 in about 5 minutes, and we got everybody out of there, and the whole team got to play, and
good.
You know, all 100 fans that gutted out the temperature cheered us on to victory. So we've had some pretty easy first-round games, in all fairness. We have. LSU was one of the harder ones, but, man, it was a fun game. Man, that place was absolutely rocking.
It was. That's so great.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You talked about the 100 fans. Now let's go to last night, and the place was rocking.
Yeah, I mean, it seats over 2,000. It was sold out there. The people wrapped around the fence. You know, it's so funny. These people send us these emails. I had to park at the hospital, and I'm thinking, hallelujah. I'm so glad you had to park at the hospital.
That's
what
right.
a great problem to have.
It's a nice walk.
Yeah, well, remember when our basketball team got rolling, you know, right with Tubby and then into Beard and all that? Everyone was complaining about the parking. I'm like, oh, my gosh, nobody complained when there was 100 cars in the lot. Now everybody wants to play basketball, and they complain about the parking. It's like this is a good thing to have problems with parking.
It really is. It really is. So tell everybody the time of the match with Duke and give her some particulars.
And how can we watch it?
Yeah, how can we watch it?
It's Friday night, 6:30 at Duke. Obviously, will be the second game because 4 teams. This is a regional now, so it's us, what's that real ugly orange team? What's their name?
Oh, wow.
This is that one in Austin?
Yeah, the little school in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
And Michigan State. So it's a pretty prestigious group of soccer programs, and it's a fun group to be a part of. And they'll play early, and then we'll play Duke at 6:30, and you can watch it. You can go straight to the NCAA.com and find the game and click it, and it'll send you to your different watching options, whether it's ESPN Plus or the NCAA.com network. They've got a bunch of options.
That's good to know. Go to NCAA.com, and they'll tell you how to go watch it.
That's right. Well, probably on our website. You could probably come to our website. My SID is not happy right now that I didn't say that first. We need those clicks.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
That's good.
Well, say it again then.
Yeah, we'll get to the Texas Tech Athletics website. Go to soccer. That'll find you. That'll tell you what broadcast.
Well, your SID's not mad at us for just texting you and calling you direct, I hope.
I just have a feeling this is how you guys operate. Everybody just understands it.
Well, hey, I'll say this. It really is the way we operate, but no is an acceptable answer.
Yeah, you can tell us no. We won't be mad.
Now, we'll wear your butt out for about 5 minutes at the most.
I try not to say no. You guys are awesome.
We try to go the other way like they want us to, but we call this guy, we call Matt Daddy, then he calls your SID, then the SID comes to talk to you, then the SID forgets to call.
And either way, you're bothered. I mean, you're bothered with.
So, it takes 3 or 4 days to get it lined up.
By that time, the show's over.
I know you're through with the season. You've won the national championship.
That'd be nice.
Well, and I did say 5 minutes, but I will say this. You texted back and said you're free for the next 90 minutes. So I'm assuming we can go past 5 minutes.
Let's talk about Leighton for a little while.
Yeah.
Let's talk about friendship.
How upset was he that you didn't show up last night?
Yeah, what kind of dad are you?
And what kind of draw is that? Out of the entire field, you get a draw that's the exact same time as your son's football game.
I know. They didn't want to hear it. We tried to play at 6, not because of that, but because we like playing at 6 in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But
good.
then the NCAA said, no, you're playing at 7, and his game went to 6:30. So I will say this. The lovely Mrs. Stone showed up at halftime because she had to make sure, Leighton was fine, and then it was 42-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
So off she went. Yeah.
Well, you did. Yeah, you didn't. You missed him scoring another touchdown, but you didn't miss much of a ball game.
The guys, he's had an unbelievable career at Friend. We were talking last week. He went over 4,000 yards receiving, which is really impressive. He's the first guy ever to do that. What's even more impressive, he's the first guy that's ever been over 3,000 at Friendship.
Oh, wow.
And they've had some great receivers at Friendship, and he is. I'm so excited he's coming to Tech. My gosh, that's so good.
I am too, and you talked about missing that first touchdown. This is a really crazy story. So I go into my office after the team's done with warm up. I go into the office, usually layer up to get ready for the game, put on another jacket or whatever, and I go in to get my clothes, and I have the game on in my office. So I was just going to check the score real quick. I walked in, and the announcer says, Holden Phillips back to pass, wide open Leighton Stone, touchdown.
Good grief.
I saw him score, and I went right back out on the field.
Is that meant to be?
That is great.
Hey, they've got another D1 kid that's a junior.
Chase Campbell.
Where is he leaning? Do you know?
I don't know where he's leaning. I know he's got a lot of options, and he should. He's absolutely a man and has just had a fantastic season. He's a great player, and they use him at quarterback sometimes on short yardage, and he's got, he's a good route runner. I mean, he's legit. I think that's what one of the biggest things is Chase's maturity has been fantastic. So you can't really double both those guys. And then Holden Phillips, my goodness, what a season our quarterback has had. That kid is, first of all, I'm so glad he went to Friendship because his team, baseball, basketball, soccer, you name it, whooped our teams growing up forever. So that kid's a winner, and now he's, our quarterback, and I think he's looking at some football options now, even though he's a baseball super stud. So we've got all three of those covered, and our center, you guys know Josh Page, played at Tech. Our center, man, he is a man. I mean, he's not giving up sacks. He blows open holes for Chase to run through. I mean, Grayson Page is kind of the unsung hero, really, of that offense because, centers don't get the praise the guys catching the ball do, but he's fantastic too. And Grayson Page, and then there's two other guys on the line. I wish I could remember their names. They've done really well for us, but Gray really is the anchor for us.
Well, who do they play next and where?
Well, you talk about seeding and scheduling. We run into South Lake Carroll now in Dallas.
This week?
Yeah, the second round. Just like Monterey's playing Denton Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, look at both those things. Monterey has the best year in 10.
Yep.
They went from 0-10 to district champs. They had a fantastic season. They turned it around. You got Luke Arrington at quarterback.
Yeah.
They've had a fantastic year, and they got to play Denton Ryan, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And now we got to play South Lake Carroll, which also doesn't make sense because the winner of that game has an easy next couple of games.
I know it. It's the second round.
Something ain't right.
It's too tough.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you.
And we're proud of you.
Appreciate your friendship, and we look forward to Friday night at 6:30. And go to the Tech website, and they'll tell you how to get to the ball game.
Go beat Duke.
Sir.
That'd be justice right there. Go bring it home.
That'd be fun.
That would be.
And then go beat the UTA.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
See you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. You too.
All right.
All right.
Great guy. And his boy is good.
And a good coach.
Yep. And I think he loves it here. That's why we got to get that consistent. These coaches, and Tom's he's stayed. He's built it.
Good bunch.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.